Hi guys, welcome back to shop. Today I'm going to do a piston fit. We're going to set the piston cylinder clearance on a Hodaka 125 Wombat. And this is kind of old home for me because that's kind of where I started, was with Hodakas back in the day. And I don't think I've ever bored one. I've put a lot of them together, put rings on them. But never bored one, and I've got it here in my hand and it is heavy. These are not a aluminum cylinder with a cast iron sleeve. They are solid cast iron, and that's one question I had about this. Was they're showing me a cylinder piston cylinder clearance of 4 thousandths. And to me, that's a little big. Most of them are almost wore out at that point. But it's been a long time since I messed with one. I couldn't remember what they are, but he sent me the spec sheet with it. And I don't know whether we're going to be able to. It's a 10 thousandths over, and is that right? Yeah, I think so. It's 0.010. That's probably millimeters. But anyhow, if that's the case, it's like 4 thousandths. So there's some scoring in it. I don't know whether that's going to clear it up or not, but we'll see. It may with 4 thousandths clearance, because what I've measured and what it's going to take to get to the same size as a piston is about 4 thousandths. So then we add 4 thousandths into it and we should be good. But I'm not sure whether it'll clean up. So we'll see once I get it bored. And I'm not going to show the boring today. I've got a lot of stuff I need to get done, and I've just had a boring one this earlier in the week or last week. And but I am going to show you the setup. So let me get you over there and we'll get started on it. Okay guys, got the 125 Hodaka Wombat. I think they call it the model 94. We've got it bored. Now we're getting ready to set it up, and we're looking at their specs here, and it's actually telling me piston to cylinder clearance at 4 thousandths, or 1 millimeter, 0.1 millimeter. So that to me sounds awful loose, but that's what their specs are. I have a feeling it has to do with this being a completely cast iron cylinder. The whole thing is. On most of the Suzukis and Yamahas that we've been doing, the cylinders are aluminum with a cast sleeve. So those usually set up at around 0018 to 002. So about 2 thousandths. This is about twice that. And I can only guess that it's because of this. It's a very massive cast iron cylinder, fins and everything. So we've got it bored, and we'll measure out the piston here, and they're not giving me a spec, so I'm just going to go with 3/4 of an inch. That's about where most of them measure at. About 7, I'm at 748 there, but a 750 is 3/4, of course. From the bottom. So what I usually do when I measure this, I'll straddle that line. Okay. And that end as far as measuring the cylinder. Again, they're not giving me a spec, so I'm going to do the same thing at 3/4 of an inch. So right there. This is one of those that, you know, sometimes you run into them, they just don't have specs, and you've just got to deal with it the best you can, and you just go by, I guess, what you would call common motorcycle specifications, and we're just going to measure that just like we would a Suzuki or anything else, since they don't really give us anything. Okay. And I come up with 2.2127. So 2.2127. This is a 10 over 0.010. So we've measured that at, what I do is I put my measurement into the setting fixture for my bore gauge, and I can double check it by going on here with the measurement that we just took. I don't know if you're seeing all this or not. This is very touchy trying to do it this way, but it's right there. I think you're seeing it. So what my bore gauge is saying and what my micrometer is saying are exactly the same thing. So at this point, we're at 3.2, so 3 2/10,000ths. So we're just almost there. And just a little bit less at 1/10,000ths. So we'll go over to the honing machine and we'll finish this up, and then we'll check our ring gaps. They're telling me that the ring gaps are between 4 and 12,000ths on top and bottom. That's 0.10 millimeter to 0.30 millimeter, and it's saying that it's based on a 56 millimeter OD. So basing that on that, we're probably going to end up with just a little bit larger than 4 to 12 because the OD is going to be bigger. That's just a guess. So let me get you over there and we'll finish up the hone. All right, we're getting pretty close, so I'm going to do a fresh check on my stones with the truing fixture. Just true them up. The way we're the same end to end. Feels good. I'm going to pull it off, stick it on the other way. feels good. Close on this. I didn't think it was going to clear up, but I believe it is going to clean up. We'll see here. It's very close, but we'll see how it's doing. Check here, but this is not where we check at. We always check at the top. We're at about 3 and 2, so we're all right. At this point, we're checking often. Trying to get my 3/4 of an inch down. 3 and 4. But you have to remember that our spec is right here at the 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the skirt to 3/4 of an inch down from the top of the cylinder. That's what we're concerned about. Yes, we want to make sure that, or try to make sure that we don't have taper introduced into it, but we're close, so we should be okay. We just don't want to go past our 4. I'm going to actually try about 3/8. I'd just like to be on the little bit on the tight side if I can. 3.9, between 3.8 and 3.9, probably 3.8 and a half. And 3.8. Just a little more. Taking very little cut right now. Just to finish. Right at it. Just a touch more. Okay, there's 3.9. And about 3.8 and a half. Good stop. It's been a while since I worked on any of these Hodakas, and I don't think I ever did anything like this. We always sent them off to a machine shop when I was there. It feels nice. A little looser than I'm used to, but that's what the spec is. Okay, let me get this cleaned up and we'll get you back over to the bench. Okay guys, let's take a look at it here. Magnet on my thing, sticking all my stuff up here. And it does look like we managed to clean up. I sure didn't think it was going to do it. Had one scored area that was a little deeper. I think if we hadn't gone to 4,000 piston clearance, it probably wouldn't have happened for us. But that's looking good. That's the only reason I can think of is because it's cast iron. Like I said, I haven't done one in a long time. I'm not sure I ever did a Hodaka, to tell you the truth. When I worked with them, we always took them out to the machine shop, and they did them, and we just put them together. But I've done some Yamaha twin cylinders that are all cast iron, and they don't go that far. But I'm not here to question it. I'm just doing what the specs are telling me. So let's take a look at what we ended up with. Okay, I'm getting about 3 and 8.5 10,000ths. It's just about where I want to be. And on this side, right at 30 or 3 and 9 10,000ths. And again, that's the relationship we're looking at is from 3/4 of an inch down on the cylinder and 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom of the skirt. That's our relation. So I think that's just about where I would want to be. I like to leave a little bit on the tight side if I can. You know, we're talking 10,000ths here, so it's not a lot. But I would rather be there than 1,000ths bigger, or 1/10,000ths bigger. Yeah, we're good. So what we've got to do now is go ahead and chamfer the ports, and then we'll clean it up and send it home. So let me get my rig all going here. And I'll just start at the bottom here. And there again, we don't need to do the side of the ports. Just the top and the bottom. Oh, that's a heavy cylinder. Yeah, and there again, if it feels sharp, it is. Those all feel good. It'll be way down there. I'm catching on my cloth there. All right, there we go. Like I say, just I'm heating up the ultrasonic cleaner as we speak. Oh, we haven't checked the rings yet. Let's do that. Okay, I got 12, and with a slight drag. That's the top one. That one feels like it's a little more. I kind of figured it would be. I'm actually surprised that it's different. Usually they're pretty close to the same. Of course, the last one I did was different. Yep. I think it's a little bigger than that even. That one I'm getting 14 on. So that's, like I say, they're basing that off a 56 millimeter bore. We're a little bit over, so you've got to expect to have just a little bit bigger ring gap. But that's should be fine. Yep, we're good. So we'll get those, I'll get this in the ultrasonic cleaner, clean it up, and get the bore oiled and send it home. Okay guys, there you have it. Bored, I think, my first Hodaka cylinder. They're all pretty much the same. This one here just didn't have a lot of data with it. Normally they tell me where to measure the piston at, where to measure the cylinder at, and I had none of that. So this was one reason I wanted to show you this one. Kind of the guidelines I've always gone with if I didn't have data was 3/4 of an inch from the top of the cylinder and 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the skirt on the piston. And that's where our relationship will be, and that's where the measurement's going to be. We'll check the bottom as we're boring just to make sure that we're not introducing a taper, or honing rather. But other than that, it's they're telling me 4/1000ths, and the only reason I can think of is because it's a solid cast iron cylinder. So you're going to have more heat, and it's going to take longer to get heated up. So I'm assuming that's the deal. When I was doing these in the 70s, I didn't know anything about boring or anything like that, so that wasn't what my concern was. My concern was with the ring gap and just maybe to double check the clearance on the cylinder. So anyhow, little something different, kind of the same, but a little different. Anyhow, thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.